I started producing on FL Studio in 2015, around 10 years ago. All I had were YouTube tutorials, and it took me years to figure out how to produce, how to release music properly, and then how to market it on top of that. I've now been able to teach thousands of you online, as well as having lots of you in my academy. And it got me thinking, what if I put the entire process of making and releasing a track into one video? So you can learn everything you need to for a successful release and potentially save years of time. So one really important thing you need is some sort of inspiration to get going with your tune. You're not just going to think of a tune out of nothing. And when you don't have that inspiration, that's what people like to call writer's block. So you need to get inspiration from something, and it can literally be anything. So for the track I'm going to show you today, this is completely random. I literally woke up one morning, and I think I was scrolling on Instagram for like 5 minutes before I got out of bed, and a video popped up, and it was this producer I followed called Pirate, and he was doing a little video on who his dream collab would be, and he said Notion. And then it got me thinking about Notion. I remember back in the day when I produced Bassline, he produced loads of Bassline, and I'd not really listened to him in a while, so I went back and listened to some of his music, and I saw one of his tracks was on like 300 million streams or something crazy, and I did recognize the tune. And then it was the vocal in that suddenly got me inspired, and I had this idea to make this jungle tune. And on that very same day, I managed to write an entire jungle track. It just came together perfectly. And it came together in just a few hours, which was insane. So that just goes to show how powerful the right sort of inspiration can be. If it just clicks in your brain, you're able to put it together super fast. That can often be the best time to produce, when you suddenly feel inspired. Obviously, you're not going to always be inspired. So you could save the less inspired days for doing mixdowns, or trying to finish certain tracks that you maybe done half of, or just learning something else, like learning some sound design, or looking for like unique vocals online, or doing research, something like that. So now you've got the inspiration down, you need to know how to produce. So this is what my tracks look like. So you can see here, everything is very well organized. The first thing you might wonder is, what are all these elements here? So I organize everything into sections. So we have drums, we have basses, vocals, instruments, and effects. Now, if you want this project template to use yourself, there's a free download in the description. I recommend grabbing that and starting here. And it's good no matter what level of production you are. I've been using this for years, and it's definitely one of the best ways to produce. So the best advice I can give is pick a genre that you really like and stick with it. Get reference tracks and learn how drums are made, learn how basses are made, learn how vocals fit into your track and where you can get vocals from, and learn how to correctly put instruments in, learn about key, learn about BPM, and then learn about effects as well. And you can slowly start building up and make tracks. You then need to learn about structure. So you can see here we've got an intro, we've got a build up, and then we've got a drop, and then it repeats itself for the second drop. So you just need to get a general grasp of everything. Now, if you want further help on this, then my academy is available. And I've also done a full breakdown of this tune. I'll leave that on the screen here if you want to learn how this tune was made. So I'll just play you a little bit of the tune. And if you're relatively new to producing, I recommend sample selection being your key thing. So I use Splice for a lot of my samples. I use my sample packs as well. So I make a lot of sample packs and then I use them myself for a lot of my tunes as well. And then for vocals, you can use Splice. You can use websites like Vocalfy. You can sing yourself if you're up for that, or you can collab with other singers. And gradually you'll get better and better at producing. So I think this track in particular is very sample heavy. It's all pretty much samples. Even the bass is sample. Normally I use Serum, but I found this really cool sample, and then I actually chopped it up and changed it around and added some like effects in that, and it sounded really cool. You can see there some automation going on. And even the drums is one sample, and then I just sidechained it with this automation here because I just thought these drums sounded so good. Why do I need to make my own? Normally I would make my own, but in this situation I was just like, damn, that sounds so good. I'm not going to change it. So the next thing you need to learn is mixing and mastering. Now if we take a look at this track on the mixer channel, so if I just play the drop, all the elements are really loud. They all come in really loud on here. They come in loud on the master channel, and then we just have a Pro L. So let me play it here. You can can see that we're literally just pushing it, and that's the master, just a Pro L. And then we get super loud masters as well. So if you want to learn more about this mixing and mastering method, I've actually got a full video on this. I'll link that here as well. Recommend watching that. I'll put all the videos in the description as well so you can find them easily. So you've made a track now, you've mixed and mastered it, and now you want to release it. First, you need artwork. Now on the screen right now, I've got Photoshop here, and this is some artwork I recently made. So if you look back at some of my releases, some of the artwork is quite mediocre, but recently I think I've got pretty good at making it. So you can see here, this is my most recent one for this track. And the first thing you need to do is pick a theme for your track. Listen to your track and just think, what does this remind you of? So in this situation, I've gone for like magical, sunset-y, with someone being lifted up vibe. So I'm probably going to do all my marketing around like the sunset and then the sun setting, maybe on a beach or something like that as well, and just work around that idea. So the track has got a theme. And once you've come up with a theme, you then need to make the artwork. So what I've done here is, because I don't really understand Photoshop that well, I've downloaded a template just online. So I did a load of Googling and found like 3 downloads to projects, like artwork projects, and then downloaded them. And then you can end up with something that looks like this. So I think this was what it was originally, or even this. So I've got like some general edits on here. So you can see like you've got some like color adjustments and some background adjustments. So I can literally just add in an artwork and it will look really professional. And then there's textures and stuff that it normally comes with as well, like that. So I found this image online. So there's loads of free websites you can find. I think I found this on Reddit. Someone was just giving away their entire portfolio and said it's all copyright free. So there were loads of images, and I thought this one looked really cool. So I just pasted it in, and then it gave it a new background and everything, so it looks quite unique. And there's other websites. I'll link a couple of free websites in the description so you can have a look, and you just search whatever the theme is and look for an artwork that looks good. You can also look on Pinterest as well. Just make sure whatever you use is copyright free, otherwise you might get into some problems later down the line. So once you've got some textures in that you've got from your free project template and you put the artwork over it, you should end up with something like this. It might take some time and trial and error to figure it out. Then you need to add some text in. So I've just gone very simple. I've got "with you" and then Arknade. And you could do it differently. So depending on where the artwork is, you could put your name at the top and the thing at the bottom. We could put it in the corners. It just depends on the artwork. I thought that looked pretty cool. And then you might want to download some fonts. So this font is Babas Newer. I don't know if I said that right. And this font is Hind. You can find loads of fonts online. I think the website's called Font or something. You can download them for free and put them in. And this is a great way, if you're not particularly talented at graphics, which I'm not, of being able to make stuff that still looks professional and not having to pay a shed loads of money for someone to do it for you, because it is really expensive, especially if you don't have a massive budget for your releases. Now you've got your track ready, you've got your artwork ready, you need a platform to release it on. So if you're really new to producing, you could literally just upload it on SoundCloud. You could make remixes. Remixes are a great place to start because SoundCloud allow you to upload them, and you could put them up for free download, start to build up a little bit of a following there. But once you feel ready, you can sign up to a place like DistroKid. So I'm using DistroKid here, and then you can release your music on loads of different platforms. So you can see, let's click into the With You one that's coming out on August the 22nd, 2025. And you'll see this is going to all of these here. So we've got Spotify, Apple Audio, the main ones, and then we've got loads of more: iTunes, Beatport. You do have to pay a little bit extra for Beatport. I'm testing that out now to see how it works. It even goes to like Instagram and YouTube Music and all these extra ones. So you'll reach as many people as possible. Now, of course, Spotify is the main one. That's going to be your main focus. So I'll just show you on DistroKid. It's really easy to upload a track. So what I do is I upload it here and then I schedule it on SoundCloud as well, because DistroKid doesn't upload to SoundCloud. SoundCloud is separate. I go here and then I have the TikTok access as well. I emailed them and they set it up for me a while ago. And then you just come down to here. This should all be filled in. It's pretty straightforward. You just fill it in with your stuff. You pick a release date. You pick the genre, so electronic, then drum and bass. You put the album artwork here. You put the name of your track here. And then you upload the track here. Put your name in here. Tick a few of these boxes, depending on what your answer is. Do the Apple Music stuff. And then you just tick all these boxes at the bottom and press continue and submit. So I plan these way in advance now. I normally do it like a month in advance. And that's just because then you don't have any issues. If you're doing it like a day before the release, it's going to cause issues. So just do it a month in advance and then you're going to not have any problems. And it will also help with your marketing later on, which we'll get onto next. So your track is ready to be released. Now you've got to do the dreaded marketing, the thing that most people absolutely hate, the thing that I also hate, so don't worry. You've got to figure out how your track is going to reach people, because if it doesn't reach anyone, no one's going to listen to it, no matter how good it is. So there's two main ways you can reach people. There's organic promotion and then there's paid promotion. So let's look at organic promotion first. So let's break it down. So what you want is as many streams as possible on your track on Spotify, as that's the main platform. So let's first look at what drives the Spotify algorithm. So your goal is to get in as many of these as possible. So you've got Discover Weekly, Release Radar, Daily Mix, On Repeat, Repeat Rewind, Spotify Radio, all these different playlists that work with the Spotify algorithm. And if you can get in some of these, then it will massively boost the amount of people you reach, the amount of streams you get, and so on. And it will all be organic as well, so you won't have to pay for it. And eventually you can build up and get some of your tracks in Spotify editorial playlists. Now, I've only had one tune out of 75 releases in a Spotify editorial playlist, so it is very rare to get, but hopefully I'll get some more soon. All the other playlists I've gotten a lot, and these are massively boost the amount of streams I've got. So let's break down each algorithm and see the best ways to get into them. Now, obviously we don't know the exact way the algorithm works because it's secret, but this is a general idea of what works. So the first one is Release Radar. Now, everyone can get on Release Radar as long as they pitch their track to Spotify at least a week before release. So that's why we do the whole month in advance thing. So you can pitch your track with no rush at all, and then you'll definitely get in Release Radar. But if you don't have any followers, no one's going to listen to your Release Radar. So you need to build up your following first. So I've done this over many years, and I think I've built up like 3,000 or 4,000 followers now. So now when a track gets released, it goes to those 3,000 or 4,000 followers Release Radar, and then they might listen to it. And it also goes to people who listen to your music a lot and may not have followed you as well. You can slowly work up on building your followers on Spotify. That's a great way to get an initial hit of streams on your track. This is going to be a slow process though. It takes many months/years to build up a good following. And then the next playlists you can see here. So Daily Mix, On Repeat, Repeat Rewind, and Spotify Radio, just to name a few. And how you get into these is by getting as many people to listen to your track in the first 24 to 48 hours as possible. Because the more people you get to listen to it, the more people that like it, the more people that save it, the more people that add it to their playlist, the faster the track will grow. Now, your track does need to be good as well for this to happen, because if people aren't rating it, they're not going to save it, they're going to skip. And as long as you know that your production is high quality, it's actually quite hard to know which track will do the best. Quite often, what I think is my worst track will do the best, but I know the production value is high on it no matter what. And then eventually you build up to these editorial playlists, and the best way to get on these is basically by being really well established in the niche that you produce. So if you're making drum and bass, to be well known in that scene. And then once you start getting in those editorial playlists, that's when the real massive streams start coming in organically. So if anyone from Spotify is watching, please add the tune that I'm going over into your editorial playlist. It would mean a lot. I actually think it would fit perfectly into massive drum and bass. So there you go. So now let's break down the release schedule for organic. So I'm going to keep it really simple for you, of a simple technique you can follow. So the goal in pre-release is to build hype and build Spotify pre-saves. So remember, if someone pre-saves your track, they'll automatically follow you on Spotify, and then on release date it'll get put into their saves and onto their homepage. Then when they open Spotify, hopefully they'll click and listen to it, and you'll get at least one stream through that. And you might be wondering, what day should you release on? So I always release on a Friday because that's when everyone releases, but there are other days you might want to release on. So if you're not very well known at the moment, you might want to do a Tuesday, away from when all the big artists release their track, and then it might give you more of a chance of reaching people, because more people are online on a Tuesday generally, and less people are releasing music, so your track might pop up for more people. So what you can do 2 weeks prior to the track being released is just chuck a few promo things out. So you could do an Instagram post, you could do a TikTok post, you could even use YouTube as well to do a post, and just tell people about it. Try and reach as many people as possible, telling a story about the track if you can, and then just saying, pre-release in bio, click it and pre-save it now, add it to your playlist for release. You could even tease the track as well, get people involved. And if your track's really good, people are going to dig it. They're going to be like, damn, can't wait for this to come out. They're definitely going to pre-save it. And then you can just continue this a week before, so you can just remind people that it's coming out in a week now, tell a different story, just got to get creative. I know this stuff kind of sucks to do, but if you really want to get your track heard by people, you need to do this kind of stuff. So hopefully you've built up a little bit of hype, you've got a few pre-saves, and now release day is coming up. So release day is the most important day for your track. What you want to do on this day is get as many people to listen to your track as possible within the first 24 to 48 hours of it being released. So you'll have your initial organic streams coming from you not even having to do anything, because it gets put in the release radar, and anyone who follows you or actively listens to your music will get it sent there and listen to it that way. But then there's some additional things you can do to reach more ears. So again, you can do another Instagram post. You can try and get creative, try and do something that might go viral, or just tell the people that follow you, your biggest fans, that it's out, because the people who are your biggest fans are more likely to stream the entire track, which is good for the algorithm, and save it and add it to their playlist. You've just got to experiment basically and see what works for you. And then if you have a mailing list, so hopefully you're building up a mailing list in the background. So you could do this through free downloads on SoundCloud. I do it through my YouTube channel. So I offer free downloads in a lot of my videos, and then they sign up to my email list. Then I send them updates on YouTube videos, and also I tell them about when I release a track as well. So emailing your entire list on release day, so that gets more eyes on the track. And then another thing you can do is just message people directly. So your biggest fans, message them, tell them the track's out directly. Or friends and family, tell them your music's out. They'll go and listen. People who know you are more likely to give you a chance and listen to the whole track as well, which is good for the algorithm. And then finally, you want to add it to your playlists that you're hopefully building up in the background. And then you want to add it to other people's playlists. So you can submit to other people's playlists through either direct messaging or using these services like Daily Playlist here. So you can see people are submitting their track to my playlist, and I will listen to these and either accept or decline if I like it. And then there's Submit Hub as well, which you can actually make money from. So essentially what you're trying to do is get as many eyes onto your track as possible. You're relying on the track being really good, people enjoying it, listening to it all the way through, saving it, adding to their playlists, and then that will push the algorithm to then put it in the different Spotify algorithms we talked about earlier, and then that'll push it to more people and more people and more people and more people, and eventually you'll get more streams. And now an example of one of my tunes that hit the Spotify algorithm perfectly was this tune Fast. So this track just hit the algorithm perfectly. People must have really liked it, listened to it all the way through, saved it. And because of that, it got in every single type of Spotify algorithm. It got in the radio, it got in Discover Weekly, it got in loads of different playlists. And then it just got to like 53,000 streams in just a few weeks, which is absolutely insane. So what you're aiming to do by getting everyone to your track as fast as possible is get it into a similar place like this track here has. It doesn't work every time, but consistency is key. So releasing a track like every 4 to 6 weeks and just trying this every single time, and eventually it will start working. So then we've got post-release. So this is like a week after your track's already been out. You can just simply remind people that your track exists. And you can just do similar things to what you've already done. Just experiment, see what works. You can post stories as well, and just build up from that. But now let's look at paid promotion. I'm going to keep this really, really simple. So again, you want to focus on the first 24 to 48 hours of the release. And then you can save a little bit of the budget for after that as well, like a week or two afterwards. But the majority of your budget is going to go within this first 24 to 48 hours because we want to hit that Spotify algorithm hard. So that was the goal there. We just went over that. Now there's 2 ways to do this. So the first is Facebook or Instagram ads. So for this, you need to have a Facebook account and an Instagram account, and then you can go on Facebook and go into the business part of Facebook and get your ads all set up through that. Now you just want to go and watch more videos on that because that's quite a long process. But once that's set up, you can then create ads for your track. Literally a 15 to 30 second preview of your track with the theme of your track behind it. And then you just put the title of the track, Out Now, And then through the advert at the bottom, there'll be a little link saying listen here. And then you click on that link and it goes to a thing you'll have set up. So you can use the DistroKid one, or if you want to track it better with Facebook, you can use Facebook Pixels. So you'll see here, this is one of my releases, Take My Hand, and this is how it's set up on ToneDen. So you put your track ISRC number, which you get from DistroKid in, and then you just follow all the steps and add in your Facebook Pixel ID, which will set up when you set up Facebook ads in there. So I recommend just looking into this more. And then once it's all done, you should have a link that looks like this. And when people click on your advert, they'll get sent to this, and then they'll click Spotify and get taken to the track, and then hopefully listen to it, love it, and save it, etc. So I'll put on the screen here what one of my ads looks like. So this is from a track I previously released. It's called Let Me Be. And we went for like a nighttime ethereal sort of vibe where it's like in space with like night skies and stars and all that stuff. That was the theme for this one. And then I've got 5 different videos, and then I'm testing out different styles of adverts and seeing what gets the best click ratio. So around about 0.1 to $0.3 per click on the link is a pretty good stat to aim for. And then the budget is just whatever you can afford, and hopefully you can gradually build up from there. I haven't done this too much because I'm pretty new to it all, so I don't know what the best budget is, but from what I've researched, it can go from anywhere from like $100 all the way up to $1,000 depending on how hard you want to push it. So warning, just be really careful with this. If you're new to all this, I wouldn't recommend doing this at all. Just stick to the organic stuff and then slowly work your way towards this. Just be really careful with your money. So then we've got Submit Hub, which is where you can submit your track to be on big playlists, but it does cost money. So every time you submit to a playlist, it costs money, and then you could get rejected from the playlist. So you're basically spending money in the hope that you'll get on the playlist, and hopefully you'll get on a few. And this again will boost your streams if they're good playlists and people actually listen to them. But it's also worth knowing you can earn money. So once your playlist gets above 1,000 saves, which hopefully mine will be soon, I can put my playlist on Submit Hub, and then I can make money myself from people submitting their track to me. So those are the only 2 paid methods I want to show you, because that is basically the best way to get growth. So if I had, say, £100 on my budget, I'd probably spend like 50 quid on Facebook ads the first 24 to 48 hours. Then I might spend 25 quid on Facebook ads for like the next week or so on whatever's working. And then I might spend 25 quid on Submit Hub. And this will basically just be trying to send more and more people to my track within that initial algorithm timeframe, in hopes that we get on to all those Spotify algorithms and boost it organically through that. So you may be thinking, this ad is really expensive for 1 click, but hopefully it pays itself back in the future by getting into these playlists and giving you organic streams. So that is the video complete. Any questions you've got, let me know. I'm more than happy to answer them. I'm still new to a lot of this as well, even though I've been producing for many years, marketing. This is all just research I've been doing recently and trialing out different things. You can check out my Spotify and see all my tracks on there. Some have done rubbish, some have done decent, and I'm just letting you know what's working and what's not working for me. Now, if you enjoyed this video, why not watch this video here where I go through a year's worth of self-releases, and I'll show you exactly how much money I made from all these self-releases. There's lots and lots to learn in this video as well.